doing it in Marine Day. Do you want to step inside? Maybe here I've got the ladies from Powerboat Racing, that's offshore, and OCR Racing. So we have Rose Perez at the end there. We've got Emily Pike, Gemma Horwood, and Elle Rutherford. So it's nice to see you guys. Are you enjoying the show? Yeah, you really enjoying it? Great stuff. So these lovely ladies racing powerboats, and it's usually a male-dominated sport, as you can imagine. But we have women that break boundaries and get into this very, very tough sport. And as you can see, we've got a beautiful boat here from the British Powerboat Racing Club. It's a big 42-foot fountain, 1,600 horsepower. That. Yeah, a lot, isn't it? So she's lovely. But let's speak to the ladies. So I'm going to speak to you first, Rose. So Rose is part of the BPRC. She races offshore, which are the bigger boats, and they're in big seas. So I'm going to speak to you. So Rose, you've been racing a long, long time. Tell me how you got into the sport, because it's unusual for a woman to be racing.
Well, yeah. I actually started quite late in life. I was 46 when I first started racing. It's back then in '73 when we'd watched the racing. I don't know how we ended up there because my dad was an absolute rag and stick man. But I fell in love with those powerboats. And I said to him, Dad, get me on one of those. I want to do that. And he just looked at me and said, don't be so stupid.
Question for you. Come on.
I race Formula 2 at the moment, but I started off in Formula 3. And that is, am I too close to the mic?
No, come closer to the mic.
There are 3 different speeds of boat races: Formula 1, Formula 2 and Formula 3. And Formula 3 is the slowest with a 90 horsepower engine on the back.
But it's not slow, is it?
No, it isn't. And it's kind of grassroots as well, so it gets a lot of people into the sport, but it's still quite expensive because you end up pressuring and things failing and all the rest of it. But it's a great, I've really enjoyed it. If all the boats are on the same level, it's cracking racing.
Let me ask Emily, so you race, it really is a huge fleet of men and only a very few women.
Yeah.
So how do you find that, and do you find the sport very welcoming?
Yeah, it is really welcoming. So OCR have been fantastic and they treat everybody equally, and we always, as women, get a really good reception, but also as new racers to the series, you get a fabulous reception from all of the organisers, from the committee, and the other racers. It feels like a really nice team, and I think that's the same for most clubs that people join or organisations. For example, I also do inshore rallies at Exmouth Powerboat Ski Club, and they have been amazing this year, and they're always helping each other out. There's always something going on, and people are just very welcoming. And I think perhaps a lot of women and or younger people or people who don't know that much about boats and haven't spent that much time around boats get a bit worried about the reception that they'll receive from these clubs and these organisations. But I think it's one of those things where you should just go along and have a chat with people and see what it's all about, because there are so many opportunities to get into the sport at a grassroots level. You don't have to be racing big boats like this.
Yes,
you can be racing things that you can afford to race, that you want to kind of learn the skills, and there's always loads of people to help you. And I found with OCR in particular that everybody really rallies around for each other, and it makes you feel very welcome.
Yeah, and this is the important thing, that in powerboat racing at all levels, there's always someone to help you, and if you want to get involved, come down and volunteer and speak to people. I'm going to speak to Gemma. Gemma, you race with a good friend of mine, don't you?
Yeah, Andy.
Yes. How do you find racing with Andy? Andrew Childs, this is Andrew Childs. He's quite an interesting character.
He's a nice bloke, you know. I feel safe with Andy. We're friends, we're good friends. When we go out on the race course, we're highly competitive. Sometimes I'm not sure if you can hear what I'm saying on the intercom. I won't say it out loud. You know, we're going for it, but you know, I really enjoy it because we just get along together really well. We don't have to worry about how we are together in the boat. We're just looking forward and we're just trying to get in front of everyone and shut the door and move around and get off the start line and just thinking all the time.
So how do you feel about the sport and the welcoming that the guys, because as I keep saying, it's a male-dominated sport, but how do you feel about the attitude of the guys towards girls?
Well, when I started 3 years ago with my partner, we turned up and we didn't know anyone, and it didn't seem to matter because they were just interested in talking about boats and racing, and if you're interested too, they wanted to show you everything. So we just sort of got given a boat by the OCR, which is really kind, a 40-year-old boat, which we've now bought, which is lovely, and did some training, and then just went out there and got on with it. And people were helpful, you know, when you're racing your driver's rep, would talk to us and look about moving your tank up and down the boat and what the weather conditions were and all the rest of it, and little things like that. When you put your overalls on, what I gathered was that we're all the same.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because we're doing something fast, it's a bit dodgy, that it doesn't really matter if you're a man or a woman at that point, and it doesn't really come up finish. You take your overalls off and you don't have a point, because everyone's talking about the same thing, and we're all competing. I hadn't really thought about it until you brought it up, because it's sort of like there's no difference between men and women at that point. I mean, there is physically, but mentally, together, you're a team, and that's what's important. It doesn't matter if there's 2 guys, 2 girls, girls and a boy, it's not important.
Yeah, because physically we are very different. So we would say rattle around in a boat in comparison to like a big 6-foot guy. So how do you find it racing OCR? Because this is very, very close racing. You know, and it can be dangerous, but it is close racing and you get thrown about a lot.
Well, I navigate, so I'm looking behind me all the time. So I really like my helmet, because I'm usually just getting smashed at the front of the deck. But it doesn't matter because I'm protected. So I've got 3 handles that I hold on to, not all at the same time, I've only got 2 hands. But I make sure that they're always in a position where I can get hold of them, and I wear like gloves with grip, so I know when I've got them, I can grip it and look behind me. I've got elbow pads on me, so that my left arm gets whacked against the gun continually all the way around, so they get bruised on. I've got seat pads. I make sure that it's comfortable when I'm sitting on, and I have 3 moulded seats are a bit uncomfortable because I've got a twist in them. So I make sure I've got tape and padding on the bulky bits of that seat, so if I do have to press on it, I'm not going to injure myself and we get thrown around. So you sort of get used to that within that 10 seconds of being navigating in a boat. Like, okay, this seat, I need to sort it out, I need to sort my body out, I need to sort my elbows out.
How do you feel as a newcomer? Because this is new for you.
I find it really funny because everyone always directs everything to my co-driver because they assume that he's the driver. I can remember when the first time I was doing Thundercats, I put on the forum, because again I didn't know, was how do you not get your foot caught in the prop? Because obviously the transoms have got holes in. And they were like, well, if you sat on the front, how is your leg ever going to get near the prop? And it's like, no, I'm the driver.